Absolutely. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I will say, asking questions, it's funny because when I was, I don't know, I must have been 5 or 6 or something, but I was the one always asking questions. And same, I wasn't always in trouble, right? But my mom, luckily, my mom said, my mom and my teacher, there was a few people in my life early on that said, listen, there's no such thing as a dumb question, right?
Yeah.
And this is, we've heard this, but like for me, somehow I just grabbed onto that. And I was the guy always in the room. I'm like asking questions, and there would be half the room would laugh, and then half the room would be like, thank you for asking that, because I was confused too, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd get shut down all the time, but that curiosity is something that we lack, like as a society, because people are confused all the time and they misunderstand things and they never will get it clarified, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so how is there like, how do you develop allowing people, like, of course I'll tell you, hey guys, you listen to shit, like ask your questions, like please do not tell anybody that your question is wrong, because there will be people, you can ask anything, right? You can literally ask any question and somebody will find something wrong with it. So the problem is not your question, the problem is who you're talking to. But how can you encourage people to like not be afraid to ask questions? Because I'll tell you, I probably am the number one question asker in any event, any function I'm at. I'm always the one asking questions, right? And I think that's part of a positive trait. But why do people not ask these kind of questions? And can that be developed, and how?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you a couple answers there, Aaron. If you and I were at the same event, it would be interesting because I'm usually the person asking those questions, you know? And I can't stop it. Like, I can't help it. If I have a question and I don't get it answered, I can't hear anything else. It's like stops me. Does it feel like that for you?
Yeah.
Like, where if you don't get an answer, all you can think about is the question, and like I get stuck. And so I ask a ton of questions. And I think for someone, let's not just talk about answering the question or asking a question like in a room or something like that. Let's like bring this up to pursuing a question. Like the pursuit of, can I become an entrepreneur? Or the pursuit of, can I do something different? Or the pursuit of, can I change the world? Like, I think those are questions that come up for people like us. And what I've found in my career is that in order to have comfort in asking and pursuing those questions, as entrepreneurial personality types, the way that you create that order in your life, because order creates comfort, then excitement. And lack of order creates dissonance, then disease. Mm-hmm. And the more we have order in our lives, the better. And so for us as entrepreneurs, when we lower the pressure and noise in our lives, it becomes much easier to follow those inquiries. When we lower the challenges that we have, when we eliminate things we don't need, when we get rid of stuff that's just causing noise and taking away our momentum, suddenly that inquiry of, can I do this, gets a lot more clear. And that inquiry of, should I pursue this, gets a lot more clear. And so where I focus with my clients, with myself, is on central nervous system regulation and optimization. So, we show people how to grow 7 and 8 and 9-figure businesses. And we have an incredible track record. We've worked with ClickFunnels, with Alex and Layla Hormozi, with Daniel Rosen at Credit Repair Cloud. We've helped a ton of people get into that 8-figure range. And we've even helped people exit for over 9 figures.
Nice.
And the consistency in the people who take off are the ones who lower the noise in their lives. And it's a paradox. You need to lower the noise everywhere in your life so you can withstand the noise of growing a business in a way that keeps you regulated. And when I look at that, that reality, that as soon as we get an entrepreneur in our program to start going to EMDR therapy, or we get them to start drinking more water, or start working out, or start taking care of themselves, or get a massage once a week, it doesn't matter what it is, but some level of lowering the noise and taking care of themselves, all of those lines of inquiry that come to us and are begging for answers, suddenly we have the answers and it gets a lot easier.
I love that. I think my wife should listen to this, because she's always asking to put things in order, have order in our lives.
It's the most important thing there is. So I work with a coach, a shaman named Eddie. He's absolutely amazing. And he taught me that. He's like, order is the highest priority. And I said, why? And he said, because order is calming. And what we want with our personality type is we want excitement. We want to go from lack of order to excitement. And he said, when you do that, you create massive dissonance in your life. We're not in our bodies. We're not clear. We're not really thinking straight. And then we go, oh, I want to go do this big thing. And what happens so often in entrepreneurship, Aaron, is that people are hustling and running and going as hard as they can. And it's like they have not created order. They're just going forward. And then they create this dissonance where they look up one day and they've got this company around them and they go, holy shit, this isn't what I wanted. Like, this isn't even where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That happened to me.
I've definitely seen that, yeah.
That happened to me. Like I lived that. In my 20s, I ran a company called Sales Out. It was a consultancy that I started when I was 21. And over time, it grew to do about $250 million in sales. We were a multi-million-dollar company. I had 15 offices in the US and Latin America, wow. Pretty substantial team. But it almost killed me, Aaron. I didn't have order in my life. I was just running. I was just pushing. I was just hustling. I was so poor. All I had was money. I didn't have relationships. I didn't know a lot of people. I was kind of like blocked off from the world. I was working 7 days a week. And when I turned 30, I met my now wife, Katie, and she changed everything. Like I had this person who was this incredible mirror back to me. I fell so deeply in love with her within like the first hour and a half of meeting her. Like for real, the first night we so we met while we were both traveling, and then we talked on a phone for about 6 weeks, and then she came out to Florida to visit me from Texas. And the first night she was there, I proposed and she accepted.
Wow.
And so we were like secretly engaged from the first night we were together. It was life-changing, still is life-changing. She's the most extraordinary thing that's ever happened to me. But when I got together with Katie, I looked up and I'm like, I have this business where I travel 80% of the time. I don't really have any fun at all. Everything feels like I'm either white knuckling or pushing it uphill. I don't want to do this anymore. So I had this company that was the largest of its kind, and I sold like the contracts and fire sailed and got rid of stuff over the course of 6 months because I couldn't do it anymore. When I had that shift with seeing how Katie saw me, I realized I had not grown a business, I'd grown a trap. It was a prison.
Yeah.
Every single day was a prison. And I think for us as entrepreneurs, when we create in an environment of really high personal noise, we often create something we absolutely don't want.
Right. That makes sense. And did you have, when you were in that business, did you have a reason to have, let's say, more money? Like, what drove you? Obviously, you built that thing that wasn't ideal, but what was your thought process during the time when it was like, hey, this business, like, obviously we're going towards something. Did you have a goal in mind, or you just kind of were going with the flow, so to speak?
You know, and I think I was like every other entrepreneur, just trying to make it bigger. You know, like every year had to be bigger than the prior year. Every year I wanted to make more money. Every year I wanted to set new records, you know. And when I look back at that time now, as I approached each one of those outcomes or goals, they lost importance to me. So I'd have to reset them and make them bigger. And honestly, there really wasn't a purpose behind it. I was running a consulting company. We worked with major brands. Like we did do some cool stuff with like getting product into Latin America earlier, which was nice. But honestly, I think when we create from a place of high pressure and noise, we create growth for the sake of growth. You know what grows for the sake of growth? Cancer.
Right.
Cancer grows for the sake of growth.
Right. So you weren't like, hey, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to go and do some donation or have some bigger purpose, or you didn't have a mission behind what you were doing, really, is kind of what you're getting at.
You know, Aaron, I was working so much that I didn't even have time to think about that. I was working 7 days a week, usually somewhere around 12 hours a day or more.
Yeah. Wow. And with not a goal, not an, like the money for no thing, like no money for X. I just piled it up in the bank. Like literally I piled it up in the bank. I had a Chinese manufacturer who we worked with that there's this custom in China that if somebody does something really great for you, then you give them a tip. So you send them cash. And the manufacturer was a DVD player manufacturer, and I had gotten them on Home Shopping Network, and we like broke the record at Home Shopping Network. Then we broke it again. Then we broke it again. We had like a $12 million day, then like a $17 million day, then like a $22 million day. And after each one of those, that manufacturer sent me somewhere around like $10,000 to $30,000 in cash, like in a FedEx. Like, here's your tip. Thank you for doing so great. And I had so much money in the bank, and I had all this cash, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do with it. So I put it in a cupboard in my kitchen,
And it was there when Katie came out to like the first time she ever visited, you know, we hung out that first night, everything was great. The next day she opens the cupboard and she's like, what the hell is this? It was like all this cash stacked in there. And I'm like, well, I've got this manufacturer. I don't really know what to do with it. It was a gift. If I put it in the bank, I think I'm gonna have to pay taxes. So it's just in the cupboard. And so like there not only did I really not have any greater goals other than finding someone to be in a relationship with, like that was something I really focused on.
Oh,
that was something I really focused on, and I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, great. And then so that the business that you really obviously, you know, in your words, was draining you down, didn't have a purpose, wasn't, you know, was a burden in every sense. What about now? Like, do you have, when you're making this goal, what kind of goals are you having now? And then is that a difference?
Oh, dude. My life could not be more different now, because today I live a life of massive regulation. Like certain central nervous system regulation is my goal every single day. You know, I spend a tremendous amount of time with my wife, with my kids. I use the systems that we teach entrepreneurs to run my business. So I'm in the business maybe somewhere between 8 to 12 hours a week. Some weeks much less. The only reason I do 8 to 12 is because I'm still the subject matter expert. Otherwise, it would be a lot less than that. Like my one of my team members was here this morning. We just did 3 hours of videos. That's like a big week for me to work 3 hours in a row. And I make decisions from a place of intuition and instinct, not from a place of need and lack and want and greed like I used to. And so the world just unfolds for me like I want it to. And, you know, I'm so far past the point of synchronicities and like coincidences. My life is just like a stream of miracles. And when I need the right person, they're there. And when I am feeling like I need to connect with my wife, she walks into my room. When I want to buy a car, I go on a website and the exact car's on the website. My wife and I just recently bought 2 cars, and she texted me and said, hey, see if you can get the delivery date to be the same time and date. And I was about to text the guy to see if they would deliver it at the same time, and I got a text back with the same time and date as my wife. Like that stuff happens to us all the time because I live in this energetic of presence, this energetic of drawing towards me what I want in life.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And so what is that, the ultimate goal? Like you're in your companies or your personal life, have you defined what is your, the top goal, like your end goal? What is, say, the purpose of your life?
Yeah. So thanks for asking, Aaron. This has actually kind of grown recently. So I run a company called Simple Operations. And for most of my life, I ran a business. I ran a business as my life. And today I run a business that creates my life. And it's totally different. And we show entrepreneurs how to install our Simple Operations system where they can get out of the day-to-day of their business. They can have a lot of time and space. They can start taking care of themselves. They can look at the world differently and do a lot of what I'm talking about. And if you had asked me this like 3 or 4 months ago, I would have said my goal is to share that Simple Operations system with as many entrepreneurs as we can. And you know, it still is. But what's come out of it in the last like 4 or 5 months is my wife and I have been coaching entrepreneurs since 2011, and we had a product in the real estate industry prior to that. And so we have a lot of time working with entrepreneurs and a lot of time working with couples. And we've had some major breakthroughs in our marriage and I've come to some understandings in our marriage where I think our next goal, in addition to putting the Simple Operations system in as many businesses as possible, we want to help people transcend the biggest problems they have in relationships. And we have we have what we call the relationship operating system that is free with our business membership, because so many married couples are in our membership that we use that for them to get really aligned and clear. Well, dude, over the past few years, we've watched marriages that literally are coming to us on the brink of divorce. We've had more than one couple tell us, we're joining your program or we're getting divorced. And they put the relationship operating system in place and everything changes. And so I think my new goal is to really refine the relationship product that we have, to really get super clear on it and go out and help entrepreneurs create marriages like I have, where
Wow.
your marriage is the foundation of everything you do. Your marriage is the strength and purpose you walk into every room with. And your marriage creates the launching pad for anything you want to do in your life. And I think when people like us have that secure attachment and we have clear bonding and there's order in our relationship, I know for myself, everything in life gets easier.
That's amazing. I love this. I love this philosophy. In fact, I mean, it aligns very closely to what I believe, which is right. You work on yourself, you get strong as yourself, then your relationship gets stronger, then that goes into your business, and then overall, you're thinking about the mankind, and you think about humanity, and that keeps going, right? There's compartments to life, and when one gets stronger, the other gets stronger, and so that's a beautiful. Love that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks, man. This is one of the first places I've shared that.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice. Boom. There you go.